awards and their certificates. You'll see more of that on our social media pages. So if you'd like to find out more about the Terrific Kids program and what is involved. Also, our next presentation is going to be at Lanneman's Prep. That's this Thursday at 10 a.m. So Kiwanians who would like to participate in that prize giving ceremony, 10 a.m. at Lanneman's Prep High School. Secondly, I'm happy to announce, as you may have noticed online, we do have DP Stuart Spencer back with us. Welcome, DP Stu. I know that he hasn't fully recovered, but the fact that he's at home recovering is a step in the right direction. We haven't seen DP Stu over the past couple of weeks. That's because he was incapacitated, and we're happy to hear that he has crossed that hurdle and is on the full path to recovery. So our prayers and our well wishes were answered, Kiwanians, and he's back with us, joining us with music and his organizing skills in that regard. Also, on Saturday, we had the divisional council meeting, and the club, Kingston Club that is, had a number of awardees and things to celebrate. First of all, in terms of individual awards, we had DLG Willie, who secured the Interclubbing Prize for the quarter, champion Interclubber. So congratulations to him, as many of you would have seen him at various meetings across the Kiwanis calendar, as well as the top secretary for the quarter. So congratulations, DLG Willie, well deserved on behalf of the club. We also had individual prizes to Assistant Secretary Chris Anderson, who I think is back in Jamaica now. He won the Spirit of Convention Award for the recently passed district convention in Niagara Falls, Canada. So a special award was awarded to him based on his participation, his energy, his spirit that was very infectious and made a great impression on all of the Kiwanians who were there in Niagara Falls. So well done, and kudos also to you, Chris. Just to add also that in terms of a club, we received the LG's Diamond Division Awards for the first quarter and the second quarter for, I wrote it down here, for interclubbing as well as fellowship. So first place for both of those categories for the Q1 and Q2. And on top of that, we won third place in the divisional PR competition for our our PR bulletin that we put out. So we're still working very diligently on our theme this year, which is service, smile, and support, and various facets of that. So it's manifesting itself both at the divisional level as well as at the club level. So thank you for each and every one of you who have made a contribution in that regard. In terms of next item, in terms of international convention, the Kiwanis International Convention in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's coming up on June 25th to the 28th. I will be yours truly will be representing the club at that event, and I look forward to it. I will send pictures and stories as to what transpires at that, and hopefully I'll be able to make a meaning contribution at that event. Next, most importantly, we have our big NDTC benefit performance coming up on Saturday, July 18th. That's the 62nd anniversary of NDTC. They open on the 18th of July, and that's the Friday. The opening night is the Friday, and on Saturday, the 19th, we have our benefit performance. So if you appreciate the arts, if you appreciate contemporary dance, if you appreciate just Jamaican culture, or you just want to support Kiwanis, please can you buy a ticket? The tickets are now out. Just contact DLG, Willie, myself, or any member of Kiwanis Club of Kingston. The tickets are $4,000, a modest price for that night of lovely entertainment, and it will contribute to various Kiwanis charities. So that's $4,000 a ticket. Put it in your calendar. Please mark it. That's Saturday, July 19th, NDTC's 62nd anniversary benefit performance. And I should also mention that we're running a partnership. So if there's any club who would like to use it as a fundraising activity, we're open to that. There are in fact 6 clubs currently who are partnering with us on this event. We are carrying the weight of the event, but if you sell tickets, you'll be able to make your club some money, as much as $3,000 per ticket. So please get in touch with DLG Willie or myself. If your club is interested in selling the tickets, it's a golden opportunity for you to raise funds for your various Kiwanis charities. So again, Sunday, July 19th, NDTC benefit performance. And then finally, I would like to welcome our guest speaker. It's in fact a privilege and to have DLG Robert Winter, aka Bobby, as some of you may know him, who has graciously agreed to present this evening on ways to grow our K. It's not just relevant to Kiwanis Club of Kingston, but it's also relevant to all of you who are Kiwanians on board, as well as even if you're not a Kiwanian, he has a lot of information to share. He's a fountain of knowledge, and he's going to share with us some strategies on new approaches in terms of mindset and outlook and how to make a difference when you're in a club and you want to grow or you want to make an impact on your community, make an impact on the children. He has a number of tools, a number of programs that can assist us in growing as an organization and as a club. And I'm very happy that he has agreed to share his presentation this evening. So I'm sure there'll be a formal introduction later on. But from my perspective, I'd like to extend a special thank you to DLG Bobby for agreeing to do this presentation. And I, like many others, look forward to your presentation later on this evening. So that's it on
Thank
my
you.
calendar right now for now, but I see that we have quite a few Kiwanians who are here. It's 49 persons and growing. I'm sure more people are going to be joining us. And I'd like to now hand over the mic to President-designate Zuri, who is going to do the official welcome of guests as well as visiting Kiwanian clubs. So over to you,
Thank
Zuri.
you, President Stephen.
Yep.
To my Kiwanis family, welcome to another meeting of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. We are grateful for your presence with us this evening, and we hope that you will find our meeting quite informative. For some of you, it might be a refresher. For some of you, it might generate new ideas. For others of you, it might provoke some thought, but whatever, I hope that each person on the platform this evening will be impacted some way, somehow. So to all my lieutenant governors, past, present, and to come, to all presidents, distinguished, past, present, and to come, all other officers of the Kiwanis Club, members of the Kiwanis Club on behalf of the board, and members of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, a very special welcome. I also extend special welcome to DLG Robert Winter, and I think he is probably more known as Bobby to some. Thank you for accepting the invitation to speak with us this evening. And if it is that you have a special delegation with you, we also extend welcome to your delegation as well. As is customary, though, I'm going to invite my Kiwanis clubs that are present to bring us greetings from your club, from wherever you are. And I am going to start with Kiwanis clubs outside of Jamaica. So if we have any Kiwanis club on this evening outside of Jamaica, we invite you now to share with us. All right, so we move to Division 25. Do we have any visiting clubs from Division 25?
Good evening, everyone.
Good
This
evening.
is Didi Kotisha Heron from Kiwanis Club of Coastal Trelawney. I bring you greetings from all our members. We have 4 members online at the moment, and we are waiting for others to join. Thanks for having us. Looking forward to a very informative meeting.
Thanks for joining and welcome to you and all your members. Thank you so much for being with us.
Good
Do we have
evening. Good evening.
good evening, IPP?
So IPP Debbie from Kiwanis Club of St. Bess. I believe we are 3 in numbers and we are happy to join. And I believe this will be very informative.
Thank you, and it's our pleasure to have our people from St. Bess with us this evening.
Thank
Do
you.
we have any other clubs from Division 25?
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
DP Usuary from Kiwanis Club of Negril Point. I just want to bring greetings this evening. My president, Carlene, should be joining us shortly, along with other members. Thank you.
Thank you, and we look forward to them joining, and I hope that this meeting will be quite informative for you and that some thought will be provoked.
Thanks, Madge.
Do we have any other clubs from Division 25? All right, so let's move to Division 24. Do we have any visiting Kiwanis clubs from Division 24? Well, with that silence, we move to Division 23 East.
Peace, Zuri. Good evening, President Stephen. It is great to join your meeting. Looking forward to Bobby Dearest. But first, I must say to Stuart, I really missed our communication. I hope you're doing well. And I am also saying I'm glad for the recognition of Chris. I hope he finds time to go back to convention. It's not just Jamaicans he was looking out for. The camaraderie was on the islands and everywhere. So keep it going, Chris. Back to my introduction. I bring you greetings from Kiwanis Club of New Kingston and President Sophia. I'm not sure she'll join us, but hopefully she will. We have currently 8 members online with you, and we're looking forward to all that DLG Bobby has to inform us about. I know he's one who a lot of changes. Have a great meeting. Blessings,
Thank you,
everyone.
DLG. It's our pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Do we have any other clubs from Division 23 East?
Hi, Zuri.
Pete.
Even though I'm your speaker, I am also from the Kiwanis Club of Ligani, and my club is actually meeting tonight, so there's no one else from that club on tonight, I'm seeing. But I bring you warm greetings from the club.
Thank you, DLG, and thank you for taking time. I mean, it's even more special now knowing that you took the time away from your meeting to share with us. We look forward to your presentation, sir.
Peace, Yuri. This
Yes,
is
good
Kermit
evening.
McGann, Kiwanis Club of Downtown Kingston. Greetings to President Stephen and all the members of Kiwanis Club of Downtown Kingston. Probably one of Kingston. I probably just want to shout out my friend DLG Willie and President DP Dalma James. I'm seeing those 2 online up front at this time. And DP Stewart also. At this time, I'm the only person on, but I expect others to come, trying to drum up the support to come by to share. Hi, DLG Bobby. Thank you, P. Thank you, P. Zuri.
You're welcome, and thanks for joining. It's our pleasure always to have you share with us. Any other clubs from Division 23 East? If not, we move to Division 23 West.
Good evening, fellow Kiwanians and guests. This is
Good evening.
President Ornett from the Kiwanis Club, Sunshine City, Fort Moore. I bring you greetings on behalf of the club. At present, there are 6 of us online, including one prospect, Tanya Williams. We are looking forward to an informative meeting, and we really want to thank you for the invitation.
You're welcome, Press. Thanks for joining. And I hope that this meeting will help your prospect to see what Kiwanis is all about and to have them rush to invite other persons to join, whether your club or any other Kiwanis club.
Okay, thank you.
You're most welcome.
Good
Still,
evening.
good evening.
I don't know what your title is, so I cannot call you by your title.
That's okay.
But I bring you cool greetings from the Kiwanis Club of Mandeville. And it is cool because we have been having showers of rain from yesterday, so it is cool. So on behalf of President Kashif and myself, DP Josephine, we are 4 in numbers into Club Mutinet, and we know that anytime DLG Bobby Winter opens his mouth, nothing bad comes out of him. Good, informative information comes out of his mouth. So we are looking forward to the meeting. And I'd like you to tell President Stephen that I missed him on the 12th at our anniversary meeting. I was looking forward to meet him in person. But anyhow, DLG Willie and DLGE Desmond did him proud. So thank you for having us.
You're welcome, DP. I'm sure he's hearing you.
Thank you.
I know he is. I'm DP
I,
Josephine.
Any other clubs in Division 23 West? How about Division 23 Central? Do we have any visiting Kiwanis clubs from Division 23 Central?
Yes, sir. Good evening. Thank
Good
you very
evening.
much. On behalf of President Thelma, we bring you greetings from the Kiwanis Club of Friends Across Borders. At the moment, we have DLG Rosemary Henry, we have DP Paulette Kirkland, I'm DP Bridget, and we're expecting others to join. We're looking forward to a very interesting meeting this evening, and we thank you for the invitation.
You're welcome, DP. Thanks for joining. Any other clubs from Division 23 Central?
Again, Zuri, I'm from Kiwanis Club of St. Thomas, and I'm not seeing anyone else on, so just wishing the club all the best.
Thank you. So we accept greetings for Ligani and for St. Thomas. Any other clubs from Division 23 Central? How about our SLPs? Do we have...
Oh, PE Dury, don't leave me yet. Come
Oh,
on.
sorry, President. We're back. We're back at 23 Central.
Oh, please, thank you for coming back for me. So, as you know, I'm President Eurydice from 23 Central Story Online, and at this time we have a delegation of 2 to include DLG, Desmond, and myself. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sure,
And
others will
thanks for
join too.
joining.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So before I leave 23 Central again, one last call. Any other clubs from Division 23 Central? Any SLP members online?
Hello, good night. I am Lieutenant Governor Shanoy James. I represent the Palm Division. I bring you greetings from the Caribbean District Board. And tonight with me on, I have one of my presidents, Thais Graham from the UTEC Papine, and the Vice President, Monique Reed. I'm not seeing anybody else. Hopefully more persons will join. And I'm hoping that we will all learn something from this meeting, and thanks for having us.
You're most welcome, LG. Always happy to share with our SLPs. And we also do hope that not only you, but we all will learn something from this evening's meeting. Do we have any other SLPs online?
Good evening, everyone. I'm President Tyrese Graham from ETech CKI. One of our members they were on, but they fell off. But my VP and I are happy to be here and be able to deliver all information that we learn here and share it with our fellow circles. Thanks for having us.
You're most welcome, President. Do we have any guest of Kiwanians online? All right, President, I could
Good
not.
evening. Good evening.
Good
Sorry
evening.
for the late announcement, but Kiwanis Club of 23 East Professional St. Andrew Online. Thank you for the invitation. We are happy to be, here at your meeting on behalf of our president, Ezekiel Lightburn Cry. We're just bringing you greetings. With me at the moment, we have a delegation of 3, including myself. I'm PED Latavia. And I expect other members should be joining shortly. Thank you.
You're welcome, DP. Thanks for joining, and we hope that you will have a very good evening with us. President, before I hand back over to you, I must join my voice in saying a special welcome to DP Stew. We are happy to have you back with us. Well, you probably don't start the work as much yet, but we are grateful that you are back and that you're able to be DJ this evening. And we look forward to your full recovery. Welcome back from your Kiwanian brothers. President Stephen, back to you.
Thank you very much, President-designate Zuri. And I would like to respond to DP Josephine and by extension all of the Kiwanis Club of Mandeville. The honest truth, DP Josephine, is that I'm working diligently on trying to clone myself, because that's the only way I'll be able to satisfy all of my Kiwanis obligations. So between the various committee meetings and other obligations, sometimes I can't be there. And so I'm grateful sometimes for people like DLG Willie and DLG Desmond who are acting in my stead. I'll have to make it up to Mandeville at a later date, but I'm sure you got my greetings. And one day I'm sure we will meet in person. So again, of course, commendations to Mandeville on their anniversary, but I'm sorry I couldn't make it this time.
Apologies accepted.
Thank you very much. It's sincere. Okay, on that note, I want to move quickly ahead. Apologies for absence. We do have apologies from our treasurer, Orville. DLG Willie, are there any other formal apologies on record? If not, I'm going to ask DP Newton to quickly go into our recognition of birthdays and anniversaries for Kingston members, or as well as anybody else who is online. We're running a little bit late, so I want to quickly move through that so we can get to our guest speaker. Over to you, DP Newton.
Thank you, President Stephen. And it didn't go over my head that you said quickly, so I will go quickly, sir.
All right, sir. No problem.
I want us all to remember to call DLG Stan tomorrow to remind him that tomorrow is his and Patricia's anniversary, tomorrow the 25th. Also, Kiwanian Gary Lee Singh and Suzette, they celebrate their anniversary on the 27th. The 27th is also the birthday of DLG Warwick Bogle. So we all know where to find him. So remember, give him a call and say happy birthday, DLG Warwick. And also the 30th is the birthday of Kiwanian Anthony Harris. Now, I am going to move quickly as mandated by my president and ask if there's anyone else on this platform who is celebrating any special occasion, if you could just open your microphone and quickly share with us so we can share with you. Anyone? Okay, so you'll see that I followed my president's instructions. Happy birthday, happy anniversary to all who were here, and back to you, President Stephen.
All right, thank you, DP Newton. I don't know if everybody was gun shy, but happy birthday to anybody celebrating this week or sometime soon. I hope you got wishing you all the best. Now we're going to ask our DLG Desmond, who recently returned from his sojourn to Mandeville, to share with us some Kiwanis education. Over to you, DLG Desmond. Sorry.
Thank you, President Stephen. Good evening, fellow Kiwanians, SLP members and guests. The topic is, well, a question. Why strategic planning is crucial for Kiwanis clubs? One, well, a strategic plan helps clubs articulate their vision, mission, and values, providing a clear sense of direction and purpose. Two, by identifying key priorities, clubs can focus their resources and efforts on the most impactful initiatives. Three, a strategic plan provides a framework for making informed decisions by ensuring that actions are aligned with the club's overall goals. Five, by strategically focusing their efforts, clubs can maximize their impact on community and enhance their visibility. Next one. When members understand the club's goals and how they contribute to achieving them, they're more likely to be engaged and motivated. And finally, by creating individual club plans that align with Kiwanis International's mission, vision, motto, and the district's goals, the entire movement benefits from a unified approach to serving children and communities. And that's it for Kiwanis Education President Stephen. Thank you.
Thank you, DLG Desmond. And I'm going to use part of your presentation, which was very good, having a unified approach to making a difference to the children, and segue right into our guest speaker, who everybody is here to learn from and to hear and be inspired by. And I'm going to see DP Chris Robinson is online, so I'm going to hand over to distinguished President Chris to do the formal introduction, for our guest speaker.
Thank you, President Stephen. Good evening, everyone. Are you hearing me?
Good evening, DP Chris.
Yes,
Okay,
loud and clear,
wonderful.
Chris. Yes, we're hearing you loud and clear, Chris. Go ahead.
Excellent, because where I am, the internet is a bit spotty. But it is my pleasure this evening to introduce our main speaker. I don't think he likes being called a guest, especially when he's addressing a Kiwanis group. So our main speaker this evening, DLG Bobby WYNTER. Now, as you can guess, Bobby is very experienced. He has been a Kiwanian for 39 years. Bobby joined the movement in 1986. So this year is 39 years that he has been in this movement. And certainly for someone in this movement, he has acquired a lot of experience and knowledge, which he gladly shares with his fellow Kiwanians. Certainly at the club level, he has had a number of positions within this club: secretary, chairman, president, presidential advisor. He was the president of the Kiwanis Club of Ligani in the year 1992 to 93. And of course, he was a distinguished president. And he has been advisors to presidents over the years. At the divisional level, our friend Bobby also played a major role in the formation and nurturing of the Kiwanis Club of Eastern St. Andrew. And he was a support to LG Lanny Walters. He was chairman, he was one of the Divisional 23 chairmen when our own LG, the past Lieutenant Governor of blessed memory, Rex Fennell, was the head of the division at that time, and he was also a committee chairman for past Lieutenant Governor Rex. And third, at the district level, Bobby has also contributed, and he was program chair for the 2001 Ocho Rios District Convention, and he was the convention chairman for the 2008, 2007 Kiwanis District Convention, an advisor to the 2018 Montego Bay District Convention, and also advisor to the 2024 District Convention. Naturally, over these years, he would have attended many international and district conventions and has gained further knowledge, which he gladly shares. And I see, based on this, what I've been given, he has, he is very proud of being able to go to Hawaii for the 2004, and during the 2004-2005 year, for the international convention when he was lieutenant governor. As a professional, DLG Bobby is the managing director of Strategic Alliance Limited, an organization which is dedicated to, making organization perform at a higher level. He comes from Linstead, and he attended Jamaica College, and I won't say anything further than that. He could have done better. And he also attended the University of Toronto, where he gained his bachelor's degree and master's degree, and West Virginia College of Graduate Studies, where he got an MBA. He's Christian. He attends the Swallowfield Chapel and is a member of the Mela Group, which is Men Empowered to Live Lives of Honor. He has one son and one granddaughter. My fellow Kiwanians, let us welcome to address us tonight our main speaker, DLG Robert Bobby Winter.
Thank you very much, DP Chris. And while I am allowed to present, if someone could give me permission, I must first say I'm really happy that DP Stew is back. I noticed he was not on Facebook for quite a while, but his presence around topics particularly to do with track and field has some wonderful insights. I'm glad to have you back, Stuart. I'm also glad that the two lieutenant governors that I sandwiched, Kermit was ahead of me, and after me was Gerthlin, and then Willie. It's good to see my contemporaries around. So here goes. So let me bring up this presentation. Where is it now? Okay. So let me get all the way up here. So, okay. So the topic that this evening is charting a new course for your club. And I know when the president pre-introduced me, he spoke about I am here to give advice. Now, when it comes to taking your club to higher heights, only the members can really decide on the strategies to get there, because persons really only implement what they believe and what they think and what they are committed to. So my comment here is not to give you any strategies, but to insist that you develop your own strategies to take your club to higher heights, and to tell you how it can be done and the context within which it can be done. So here goes. Continue share, right? Everybody seeing the presentation?
Yes,
President, are you
we're
seeing?
seeing.
Everybody hear me?
Yes, we're here.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yes,
All right. So the objective
we are
is
seeing
to
it. Go
share
ahead, DLG.
this strategic planning process to chart a new way forward for the club, and that members, both here at Kingston Club and other places understand what are the requirements for ensuring that whatever strategic planning you get into, you want it to deliver amazing results. All right, so the focus question, and before we start, whenever any plan answers a question, right? So we want to make sure we have the right question. And the question I'm posing is, what must we do individually and collectively to build on our successes, address our challenges, and take the Kiwanis Club of Kingston to deliver amazing results? Now, I want to ask some questions. Is this a good question? I don't want anybody to answer the question now. Just, is this a good question for us to be asking at this time? And whether it's Kiwanis Club of Kingston or other clubs, because it relates to everybody. Anybody want to? Is this a good question for us to be asking?
It is a good question.
It is a good question. All right.
Yeah,
so
it inspires you to think about what the direction that you need to go.
Absolutely. Okay. So I want us to put this direction that we need to go, right, the way forward, into some context and why we need to do this. So persons may not agree with me, but the performances of Kiwanis movement as a whole, of the district, of the various divisions in the district, and the clubs have been way below expectations for a long time. And I want anybody to tell me if they disagree, that we can have a little discussion. Am I on the right track so far? Anybody thinks this is not so? All right. Chris spoke about when I went to the 2005 International Convention. The then president, a gentleman called Steve Siemens, laid out a vision which was accepted by all the divisions, that Kiwanis membership should get to $1 million worldwide by 2050. That was a 10-year goal of KI, accepted by the delegates. Now, we got to 2015, and 10 years on to 2025, the movement is less than 30% of that amount. And that 1 million did not include SLP, I must say. So as a movement, if you just look at growth in membership, and membership is a reflection of our ability to serve, we have been found wanted. We all know, maybe some don't know, but Kiwanis is really dying in Canada. And we saw of all the LGs they have, only 3 were named distinguished at Niagara Falls. Our governors, successive governors over the years, have no proclivity or no desire, it seems, to fix the problem. Instead, they have consistently strong-armed our lieutenant governors to form new clubs so that they can get the distinguished award. Anybody can stop when they want. At the club level, in Jamaica and in our division for sure, we average typically around, there may be 1 or 2 outliers, but we average about 30% of our members are really involved. Our utilization rate is very low. A lot of members are not paying dues and still benefiting from being part of Kiwanis. While in the large part, communities and children are being substantially underserved. The harvest is plenty, but the workers are few. So, with all the challenges that are going on, the only solution that I see appears to be coming from the district, international district and divisions. Let us train. And we have been doing a lot of training. We've been trying to address this problem through training. However, it doesn't seem to be working. We train at international convention. We train at district convention. We train at All Island. We train at the DCM sometimes. We have Big Five training. We have president training conferences. We have club education slots and several one-off training presentations. All to little avail because the performance of the international district divisions and the clubs continue to be well under the desired expectations. So training seemingly has not worked. And you must quite understand why. And I believe it was one of three things. Either there's a problem with the content of the training, or there's a problem with the methodology of the training, or is it that the participants in the training do not have either the desire or the absorptive capacity for training, and therefore have not been able to convert any training received into club success. Any comments on that so far? Any disagreements? Of course, there are outliers, but it's in most part. So therefore, the question is, what is the root cause?
Sorry, DLG Bobby.
Go ahead, Desmond.
Would I be disturbing you if I ask or make a comment at
No,
this
go
time?
right ahead.
All
No,
right.
go right ahead.
What if they have had a training, but they are not given the opportunity to put into effect what they have learned?
I don't know who's stopping them. Who would give them that opportunity, or who has failed to give them that opportunity?
I might be referring to the junior Kiwanians, perhaps, who the leadership may not have seen it fit to draw on their skills, their new learned knowledge, so that they can make a meaningful contribution.
So it's not the junior ones go to the Big Five training.
Just a question.
The junior ones. It's not the junior ones go to the Big Five training. It's not the junior ones go to the DCON training. It's not the junior ones go to international convention mainly. I mean, you seem like you're trying to find excuses for the problem.
I'm not trying to find excuses, but I'm just saying that sometimes that's a possibility. But
so
you can defend
those who are styming, no, okay, don't take it here. Those who are not giving others the opportunity, what are they getting training? I'm sure they're trained to provide opportunity to everybody, and somehow they are not passing it on. So there is a problem in the training. So the training has not fixed the problem that you are thinking. Agree?
Yeah, just another thought, okay. But proceed.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
But I agree. Eastern Canada and the Caribbean, although possessing a long-term planning committee, which is normally every year chaired by the sitting vice governor, in this case, our own BG Sharon, has had no long-term strategic plan since 2010. And in 2010, the only reason why they came with a strategic plan was to cut costs by changing out the LVs from the board and putting in the district trustees. While it cut costs, it has not done anything to fix the problem that has been going on for them. Divisions never ventured there before, and very few clubs. And I can say one of the exceptions is the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, because we had a retreat and planned with Kingston's about 12, 14 years ago, I remember. And of course, like Kiwanis Club of New Kingston, who did a fabulous one a few years ago. So with training not working, having all these problems, training not working, and the root cause is because there's no strategic thinking. I think we should now turn. It seems like this is the only solution to really allow a club not just to chart that new course, because you can do all sorts of charting you want. You can you can prepare a roadmap and then don't follow the roadmap. So how can we make sure two things, that we have a plan and we implement that plan to get where we want to go. So we look, and Kingston is part of Division 23 Central, and Division 23 Central had a strategic planning process last year. And their leadership team, the big four, the IPLG, LG Desmond from this, the LG Desmond is now, and DB Chris is now the newly minted D. Then LGD Sharon, and then LGE Michael. They convened the strategy team with IPLG Hugh as a chair to develop and carry through the strategic planning process for the division. And in getting that, we started with the foundation Kiwanian principles. I find that most times we forget about our foundation, which is the KI objects. We recite it at every meeting, but I think we pay scant regard to those objects, right? And if you think about the objects, the first four objects, remember K1 is a movement that has these permanent objects. And the first four objects is directing how each man and each woman, as members of the Kiwanis movement and the Kiwanis clubs in particular, must comport themselves. Those first four objects are specifically about the membership in the movement. But we hardly have any training about those first four objects. We just recite it and do nothing about it. The Kiwanis Club is introduced in the fifth object, telling how we're going to build better communities through fellowship and altruistic service, which tells me that we are a fellowship movement and not a service organization. But we need a fellowship first to make the service happen. One thing everybody can realize, neither the district nor the division is named in the 6 objects of Kiwanis International, which means that the division and the district are incidental to the Kiwanis movement. Incidental. We only need the division and district, including everybody there like the governor and the lieutenant governor, to support the clubs, to support number 5. Those, the division, district, governor, LGs are there for one purpose only, to support the clubs so that we can live out object number 5. But these officers are there to serve the clubs. They are servants. But over the years, they have taken on the role of masters. And a lot of the clubs, and DLG Desmond insists that the clubs are very strong, but the clubs superior to the district and the division and all of this. We must remember that. And the mission about empowering communities to improve the world by making lasting difference in child. So we go back to the basics. And I would ask anybody here, and I heard people say, sometimes we need to get into the 21st century. And I'll open the floor to anybody here who really believe or recommend if we should ever, even now, change anything in those 6 objects. Does anybody have any suggestions? If left up to them, they would change anything in those 6 objects. Anybody?
I don't think that I would mess with the objects at this time. The last time we did was in 1924 or something like that.
Right. Okay.
But
When
my
it became
question,
international.
yeah, but my question is, The LG and those persons you refer to. It's part of a structure. Without that structure, you will have Kiwanis International and the clubs. And
Exactly.
what
So
will be
they have this structure. So they have this structure for the sole purpose of supporting the clubs who deliver value to the community and children. And so we are in agreement, Rod. And those
Sorry, somebody
governors and
has a background mic, a background on. I don't know if it's Ralston, but some feedback is coming in.
Okay. I don't know who that is. Some feedback is coming. And Ralston is correct. They are incidental, not for the purpose, but for the structure. And they are there to support the clubs. That's what the structures are for. Structures are there to support the clubs, not for the purpose of the organization. And these lieutenant governors and governors have no authority unless authority is given to them by the clubs. And no, my friend Ralston believes that LGs can do whatever they want. That's not true. The LGs cannot make and cannot take any decision, have no authority, unless the clubs give them that authority. And I harken back to early this year when they got together to decide to form a committee on a particular project without any authority coming from the clubs and from the delegates. And to be fair to my newly minted D, he was concerned that we are having a project before the DCMs and that we should get approval after the fact. Similarly, the governor cannot take certain decisions unless that decision are given through delegates, usually at the annual convention. They can't take decisions. LGs are there to serve, not to take decisions. And we must understand that. We are not here to serve the LGs and the governor. The governor and the LGs are here to serve us. And the quicker we learn that, the better we will understand and the better we will move forward as clubs. All right, so moving on, just what the division alone strategic plan, right? Some improvements that I say. We want a 43% improvement in the performance of the division. In the amount of goals that are met. We want a 39% improvement in membership for the division over the 5 years. We want a 167% improvement in club satisfaction based on 23 central support, divisional support. And we want a 100% improvement in clubs meeting their membership targets throughout the division. And so these are the contexts within which, so you start with where you're going and you set these targets first. That's the first thing you do. Like when you have a roadmap, you're doing a road trip, you start with your destination in mind. You don't start with challenges or don't start with what I'm going to do. You start with your destination in mind. And then the plan has the highlights of the plan. One, that we must make a paradigm shift in our training from being providing content to being interactive focus so that the participants can better accept and internalize the training and be able to convert it to club success. Secondly, our coaching needs transformation, paradigm shifts from a coach similar and simply being giving advice at meetings and sometimes forcing themselves onto the board meetings when they're not invited. To where a coach now try to understand what are the needs of a club and then help that president and club with solutions to address those needs, not necessarily coming from the coach.
So who satisfy those needs?
What the coach will do is work with the coaching chief and find persons like PDT Ralston who can help them, advise them to improve in any ways that is necessary. So it's not just the coach alone is going to come up with a solution. The coach is going to find who throughout the division, even outside division, can come and help. Individual clubs need to have strategic plan, and this is where the process comes in for the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, who, based on my very short discussion with President Stephen, is where Kingston Club needs to go now with their strategic plan. And the division has a focus, I would say, a framework to support each club in developing their own strategic plan. And all those strategies need to come from, if they want help, fine, but they have to decide, because there's no cookie cutter approach. You have to decide. The strategic plan for the Kiwanis Club of Kingston may not be the same as the strategic plan for the Kiwanis Club of St. Thomas. So each club has to develop their own strategies, actions, change in direction, etc., to get where they want. And this showed this sort of mindset change we need. And and we're not pushing this as well as we should be. To move from a president-centric administration to a relay-centric administration. This is my year? No, I'm just a relay in the whole club's long-term race. Instead of being focused on numbers and focus on projects, we focus on impact. Spoke about the train already. Activity focus to results focus. Are we getting the results we want? Not just how hard we work. Equality-based club support to equity-based support. So the division is not supposed to support each club equally, but support clubs based on their need, proportional to their need. Instead of we using lack of resources, you go to the DCMs and clubs keep complaining we don't have enough resources. That anywhere you go here, don't have enough resources. It is an excuse. And instead of looking as an excuse, try use better resource allocation and utilization as a solution. And at the low end, right now, many of us feel, I was in a retreat with North St. Andrew last week. And some new members couldn't believe this. They really thought the club is there to serve the division, division serve the district and district serve KI. When it really should be the other way around. And there are some implications. Why are our presidents making goals to support the LG and the governor's goals? Makes no sense. Remember, the division must make goals to support the club, not the other way around. District must make goals to support division, not the other way around. So some of these mindset changes need to happen before we can implement any improvement plans. Anybody have any question about these?
Yeah, I understand where you're going, but if the division is support the goals of the clubs, then the division might end up with 30, 40 goals.
No, sir. No. Division has...
Each club will set a different goal. And the division is supposed to support the club. That's what you're saying.
No. So each club, and you have, say, 15, 18, even if they have 10 goals each, right? In order for the clubs to achieve the goal, they're going to need certain support, certain guidance. And their goals is about guiding and supporting and coaching and training. Those are the goals of the division so that the clubs can meet their own respective goals. Don't confuse goals with activities, To put up a building is not a goal for a strategic plan, not a real goal. It's an activity. And we tend to confuse activity with goals. Your goal as a president is to leave the club in a better condition that you found it. So if my club has a member satisfaction at 20 when I go in October, I'm supposed to leave it with 30 or 40 or 50 when I leave in September. And the next one, improve it and improve it. That should be your goals. Projects are not goals. Projects are activities. And we need to separate activities from goals. Clear, Ali? Don't get that clear.
Well, goals are achieved by activities, right?
Right. But activities have to come after the goals.
Okay, bro.
Right. Right. So therefore, if you have problem in recruitment and fundraising, a division can help you improve your capacity to fundraise and your capacity to recruit. All right. So
such as, for example.
I mean, such as.
You said the division can assist you in how to fundraise and what have you. So a practical suggestion.
All right.
How does the division help the Kiwanis Club of Kingston?
As a member of Kiwanis Club of Kingston, I think you should attend to the process, particularly the retreat, when the Kiwanis Club of Kingston goes into retreat. And if there are fundraising and recruitment issues within Kingston, I think the brainstorming will deliver how this can help. So like the content focus shift into interactive focus, not just simply telling you what to do, but understanding your needs, why you're not recruiting properly. Maybe recruitment is not the problem. Maybe it's just engagement. You know, we have people coming in and coming out. And it's not, maybe recruitment is not the problem. I don't think recruitment is as big a problem as we believe. I think everybody who comes in the club wants to come in the club. And if we engage properly, our retention will go way up. It's not a recruitment problem we have, in the most part.
Yeah, well, we have a recruitment problem.
We don't have a recruitment problem.
In terms of I struggle to use the word quality.
But how do you know when a quality person? So can you tell at an installation who is quality and who is not quality? No, you can't. An induction, not installation, induction. You cannot. You cannot tell. Everybody has the potential to be a good member.
I'm not gonna have
you can tell me one person who come in and does not have the potential to be a good member. You tell me that. Not one.
I won't engage in a cross talk, but when I was coming into the Kiwanis Club of Kingston,
yes,
I had to sit with about 5 or 6 senior person, and I was grilled for about 45 minutes.
Right.
And what were they trying to do? They were trying to get an appreciation of who I am, and yeah, that's what they were doing. And do
but
I
it
qualify?
Happens, and nobody came in and then dropped out after. Nobody passed that exam and then came out after. So it wasn't the recruitment. It's how we keep people. And we can use people however we want to use people, but we really don't have a system to retain people. That's our problem. And we blame it on recruitment when recruitment is a scapegoat.
Lack of proper orientation.
Absolutely, Willie. Repeat that again, Willie.
Lack of proper orientation.
Absolutely. All right. So then we move on. Now, these are the mindset changes that we require, right? And typically, in responding to change, I mean, Kiwanis Club of Kingston Been here from 1964, 61 years. I don't think you have anybody that's 61 years in there, but we have persons who've been there a long time. No, for Kiwanis clubs to get to higher heights, change is going to be required. And in responding to change, do individuals readily accept change or do they readily resist change? Anybody? What's your experience when you try to get change? Whether in the clubs, your own club, anybody want to take that one? Which one is it? Are people readily willing to change or are they naturally resist change?
Resistance is normally the natural
Natural resistance.
natural resistance.
So change management, which we have to apply in Kiwanis, is about how we convert resistance to change first to willingness to change and to excitement for change. Now, if we can shift that resistance to excitement, our club will grow in leaps and bounds. And this management, change management, is a skill that should be required by anybody who is seeking leadership in Kiwanis, but it's not usually. I went to a session in Niagara Falls. It should have been interactive. It was billed as interactive, but there was no interactiveness in it. Our past Governor John Shave, he waxed lyrically about how change should happen and what we should change. And I asked him, John, what did you change in the district last year?
Nothing.
And he couldn't answer me. And I was told that I was being rude. But why come and speak about change on a training platform at a convention? And then you did absolutely nothing to change anything in the ECNC district as governor. Makes no sense. We can't just have lip service about change. No, the question is, as I maybe addressed, since I'm looking at Kingston and everybody can, have each of us made a compelling case for change in our clubs? Has anybody on this call, on this Zoom, has anybody made the compelling case to themselves that my changes must happen in my club? Anybody?
All the time.
Anybody else? Have we made a compelling case that there must be changes in our club? Kimberly, or Patricia, or Eunice, or Simone, or Sharita, Zuri, how about you? Have you made a compelling case for change in your club?
Well, I think I'm trying to be changed.
I didn't ask that question.
I'm
I
trying to
didn't ask
start.
that question. Answer the question. Don't dodge. Have you made, in your own mind, a compelling case that there should be change at the Kiwanis Club of Kingston?
But that's what I'm saying. Because I've made that, I'm starting to try to be that change. Not just make it, but try to see how I can be a change. And hopefully that can set other people to be changed
So
as
the
well.
answer is yes or no?
Yes.
The short answer is yes.
Okay. All right. So I could also ask you, have you made a compelling case to change yourself? Or is that what you're trying to say?
That's what I said. That's what I was saying. That because I've
I
made
didn't
that
ask if you're
decision and I'm
trying to
trying to
change. I didn't ask if you're trying to change. Because sometimes we try to change when we have not made a compelling case. Anytime you hear someone say use the word try, it means they have not really made a compelling case to change. When you make the compelling case to change, try and don't come into this again. Anybody else here, have you made an individual compelling case that you must change? Anybody? Anybody else?
Yes, sir. I would have to say I As a new Kiwanian, I have made that change. I've noticed certain interactions with my team members, and I have made a conscious change to do positive things to make sure that I'm always positive energy and don't take on any negativity. So it's a mindset more than anything else.
So were you doing negative things before, and now you've changed to positive things? Is that your change?
No, it wasn't a matter of doing negative things, but
So what have you changed from, and what have you changed to?
not accepting anything negative that I think will not enhance the growth of the club. Because when you're a part of a team, you always have some persons that is not positive. You know, when you want to do something, it's not going to work, or there's always something to make it not seem that it can actually be something that's accomplishable. So I think positive, no matter what the obstacles are. If we work together, if we work as a team and we unite, anything is possible.
So what have you changed from?
My mindset, not accepting the negative.
So you used to accept the negative, is that it?
Yes, because you will listen, because coming into something new and not knowing the history of a club, you try to find out, you try to see what works. You don't have any history, so you will try and find out what's the right thing to do, what's the protocol, what's the do and the don'ts. So unfortunately, not all the times, the members that are there, they don't always speak positively about each other, and they don't speak positively about the club. So
No,
as
okay,
a newcomer,
Anne-Marie, you're answering. I just asked a simple question. If you're new and you came in and observed and did something, that's not change. If you were in one place and you said that I'm going to give that up and I'm going to change totally, that's transformation and that's change. But it seems that what you're telling me is you're taking on positive things that, is not really change, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask if this looks like people in clubs. Is this typical of most of the clubs who are here?
Bobby.
Yes.
I want to you hear me okay, right?
Loud and clear, Stewie.
Okay. The question about making you seem to be equating your ability to change yourself,
correct,
with the ability to make a change in the club.
Right.
Not everybody has been in the club for 10 years, 15, 20 years.
Correct.
So if you come into a club and you have ideas which would constitute a change to the club, it does not have to mean a change to yourself.
And that's what I'm asking the history. I didn't say that, I asked the question. Has persons made a compelling case to change themselves? So if you're coming new to the club, it's highly likely that you've made a compelling case to change. Yes, you can try to implement change, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about persons who have been there for a while and says, yes, I think these clubs need to change, but I think everybody else except me needs to change. And that happens in a lot of organizations, not just in Kiwanis. So it's a little different than trying to make change. I want to get this. So somebody who's been around for a long time, it's almost impossible to try to effect change if you don't change yourself. So the new ones, the ones who just come in new, is neither here nor there. They have no baggage. Go ahead, Anne-Marie, you're saying something.
We have no baggage, you're correct. But when you're coming into a business or club and you're coming in with passion and you want to do so much, and you don't see that passion and you don't see that, then you have to step back and change, and then try and find out what the culture is, and then make that change.
No, you keep your passion Finding out is fine, but you keep your passion and you direct your passion somewhere else or in a different way. But you shouldn't change once you have that passion.
Okay.
You're right. You step back. Okay. So that's what. Okay. But in a lot of organizations, this happens. Everybody said, I think we must change. I think we must change. Right? But we don't change. We're very clear that divisions are not to have projects. Neither should district have projects. Right? But we continue doing it. And it's always a good cause. We have a ball coming up where the governor has no business in putting an involved because that's not the role of the governor to raise funds. But we all step in line and say nothing, except in whispered tones behind the governor. We have past governors who come and force LGs to get new clubs. A few years ago, a governor named 3 LGs. Excellent. Because they brought in clubs, a lot of them are struggling now. But we still support those things and don't talk about it. All right. Romans 12:2 says, be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. You know, St. Paul never once said that we need additional resources to transform or to change. In fact, transformation is net resource producing, not net resource consuming. You may need to prime the pump, but anytime you hear that we need a whole lot of resources to change, something is wrong. So we have to keep our eyes on the prize. We have to understand where we're going as a club. We can't have Stephen in the middle of the boat barking instructions, right? And persons don't understand what Stephen is saying. So you have some people rowing one way, and they work very hard, but the club is going nowhere. This has happened. It's not about hard work. It's about getting to your destination, knowing exactly where you're going, right? And then when you align everybody now, and that's one the role of the president, is to align everybody in the club against a common goal. The LG don't have to align clubs. Clubs can go in different directions as they feel, so there's no alignment need there, right? But as a club, we should have a common vision, common goals, and then row in the same direction, and we get where we want to go. So the process that Kiwanis Club of Kingston need to go through is first we have to unfreeze the leadership. The leadership play a big role. The leadership of your club, including your board. Unfreeze the leadership until the leadership agree we cannot continue as we have been. Then they have to articulate a vision. Where exactly does the club want to go? We should be asking every club member, where is your club going? Because nobody here would take a drive out to Norman Manley or to Donald Sangster and just jump on any plane. Say, boy, give me a ticket to go where? Anywhere. That don't work. So if you're on this vehicle called the Kiwanis Club of XXX, you must know where you're going. And right now, most of our clubs don't know where they're going. They know what they're doing. They have the projects, they have meetings, but they don't know where the club is going. Once you articulate a vision, now we have to strategize as a club to take us to the vision. Once you get that strategy that takes us to the vision, we have to transform the club, right? By realigning the club to the vision. We can't, everything must now be in the context of the vision. If you're going a certain direction, everything must be in, the club must be totally mobilized to go in that direction. And then you can flawlessly execute your strategy to get success. This is the 5-step or 6-step process to get to your success.
But what happens, right? We have all plans and things sometimes in the blue, but we try to jump from the blue to the purple because we don't want to change. And sometimes it's like trying to pour new wine into old wineskins. That's why some plans never get implemented. The problem is not with the plan, it's with the wineskins. And so we ourselves are wineskins that need to, if we, we can't pour the old wine into old wineskins, new wine into old wineskins. So the process for any club that we have developed for Division 23 Central, three phases. There's some assignment plan and research ahead. It's a 9-week process. Then it's anchored by a retreat workshop, but then there's post-retreat validation now. So the first thing, and this will be guided by a facilitator, and we have had training for facilitators. So Kingston Club need to choose a particular facilitator, and I'll talk about it in a few seconds, to agree on the approach, the dates, and to get initial commitment. Secondly, someone in the club has to conduct some research. Usually get a survey of the entire membership, and that usually take week 2 to 3. So you do the first meeting with the leadership of the team. And then by week 4, somebody pulls together the survey report and circulates it to the members. And that was the first part, 4 weeks. Then by week 5, we go into the retreat. Week 4, week 5. It says facilitator 1 day or maybe 2 half-day retreat workshops with as many members as possible. North St. Andrew had theirs last week and we went from about 10 to about 3. And we were able to get through a lot. But maybe because only a few people are there. So if you have, the more members you have, the more time you require. Where you're going, your mission, your vision, and your targets. And what gaps you need to improve by. Then you must understand what are your key issues, and some of those key issues can come from that survey report. And then what is the strategic improvement actions to address the issues? And how must we realign the club, the strategic alignment action, or how must the club be different, not just to try to improve the action? Because your strategic plan is both an improvement plan and a realignment plan. All right, so then by week 5, you document and circulate notes. Then usually some brainstorm is done in that retreat. And then for each of those key issues, there's a recommended actions. And the president will then assign teams following the retreat, right, to go and do some further research and further brainstorming in smaller groups. And then send back the results to the president and the facilitator, who will then convene for another half-day workshop now to fine-tune the draft plan, to agree on the strategic actions, to agree on the next steps, to agree on how we're going to monitor and report, which is usually the purview of the board. And then you implement. And then, document and circulate the final draft plan by about week 9. So this is about a 9-week process. And trust me, it's where you have a facilitator and the entire, as many persons as possible, membership team. And so when a plan comes out, it is, the content belongs to the club. All the facilitator does is provide the process in which you brainstorm and pull out actions and pull out commitment. Because 2 things make a plan work. It must be implementable plan and willing implementers. Now, it's important, I just want to facilitation very quick. For best results, the club needs a facilitator, probably an external one. As I said, we had some persons who, myself and some other persons have been training, and we're actually going to run at least another training before the end of this year so that we can have persons who are certified
And we give out certificates, but only until you act, not just come the training program, but when you have actually helped a club through a plan. So Hugh started his own. Sarah from New Kingston is going to be helping. Ligani is the next one, and we hope that Kingston Club will be the third one, and others will follow suit. Right? So the facilitators has two people: the guide, and they're not the seat of wisdom. So they're not the one. So when Stephen said, "I must come with strategies," I'm a facilitator. I can guide you to come with strategies, but I don't try to give you strategy. Right? I'm not. They're not there to draw opinions. Instead, they're not to give opinions, but they're to draw out opinions from the people who are going to implement. Another definition: it's a highly structured meeting in which the facilitator guides them through a series of predefined steps to arrive at a result that is created, understood, and accepted by all participants. Now, the club members are not involved in creating, understanding, and accepting the plan. The plan will never be implemented. There's something else. So you have the plan now and say, okay, it's time to go. Execution. And Michael Leachin has this dictum that says success is 1% planning and 99% execution. So all the work you do in the retreat in those 9 weeks, it's just the 1%. If you go back to your formal ways, then nothing will happen. I've seen a lot of organizations where plans are bound in nice documents or put in files or put on the website, and they never see the light of day. We have to make sure we have execution. So execution brings the club strategy life through implementing the action plans and measuring, monitoring, and report. Because the strategic plan is there to impact the club. So you have to measure the impact, but you also must make sure that it's actually being implemented. All right.
Bobby, I have a question.
Yes.
It sounds to me like this whole process would be put together by the leadership of the club.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely,
what do you say to those who would argue that if you don't get the inputs of those who are lower down, below the leadership, how are you gonna get the buy-in?
All right, Stuart, I think you misunderstood me. Look at number 2. Number 2 is where you do a survey of the entire membership.
Okay.
Number 4 is where as many members come to the retreat. And the president is just one of many, the facilitators who leads it. And what comes out is consensus from everybody.
Okay.
Then you go into number 6. The president say, okay, let's have 4 or 5 teams. And 4 or 5 persons on each team. So you have as many persons involved in 6 teams. And then everybody come back to number 7 to sign off and approve. And by the way, even after number 7 and number 8, it still needs to go to the board and to the general membership for final approval. So you're correct. Everybody has to be involved. Everybody has to be involved.
Okay.
But these are the persons who sort of do the driving. Okay. All right. So I want to state some where DP Chris, said, and DP Chris had a revelation, and somebody posted, and he said something very succinctly that there exists a dissonance between the objects of Kiwanis International and the goals usually stated by our leaders. He put in bracket our presidents, our LGs, and our governors. These goals that they put up now bear little resemblance to the objects. Instead, these goals focus on growing membership, raising funds, building new clubs, etc. While these goals may be noble, they do not directly align with the objects. We need to ensure that our motives and actions, as quantified in our and expressed in our goals and activities, are consistent, that should be with our philosophical outlook, objects of KI. I thought this was a profound expression, and I big up DP Chris every day, and I have been quoting this. This is exactly what is happening. And this is exactly why the Kiwanis Club of Kingston now, and our clubs, need to get in their strategic planning process and make sure they remember the true north is the objects of Kiwanis International. And I ask the question again. If our clubs are not following the objects, should we change the objects or should we change the clubs? Anybody can answer that? Or change the members? If our members are not following the objects, should we change the objects to suit the members? Or should we change the members to suit the objects? Anybody want to answer that for me? That's our biggest problem we have in Kiwanis right now. That dissonance. That is what's causing the biggest problem.
Yeah, but you're not going to change the objects.
So therefore we need to change the people. And there is a resistance, and that's why change and strategic plan is going to help.
That too.
No, that's the only way. I don't say another way. So, on that profound statement by your own DP, Chris, I rest my case and say, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, everyone. Thank the Kiwanis Club. And I'll be reaching out to President Stephen about getting the Kiwanis Club of Kingston on their journey. On their journey to greater heights, to charting their way forward.
Bobby, I know you're finished, but I just want to throw this in.
Yeah.
We all, well, let me not say we all. Many of us recite the objects.
Yes.
Without knowing them.
Absolutely.
Really knowing them.
You're so right to it. You're so right.
I think it would be a good idea.
Right.
If we printed something this size, like maybe a little bigger than a business card. Something big enough that you can read without your glasses, or probably. And everybody could carry it around with them. Because, I mean, I know they are on bulletins and elsewhere.
It's on your phone.
And it's in your heads too. But what I think we should do is spend some time discussing one object and say, are we living this? Why are we not living this? What can we do to live this? What can we do to get others to live this? And have that discussion. I think that should, instead of just recite, it's like the national anthem, you know. We say justice, truth be ours forever, and everybody go and say we want justice. Recite the national anthem, but we don't believe it. And I think as Kiwanis, we really don't believe the objects. Because they do exactly what you want to do. And you're right to it. It is a problem, but I think we need to be more proactive and active in having some discussion within our small groups. Every club meeting should have that on the agenda. To have somebody leading a discussion about one of the 6 subjects. Maybe once a month. I don't know, whatever it is. And so persons, it can really resonate. They have resonance instead of dissonance.
Yeah,
make
that's your
very
question.
good points to it. Yes, Ralston.
Would you say Kiwanis clubs were successful in the past?
it depends on what to use as the yardstick for success. I will tell you this, and I can't forget, I went in as president in 1992 October, and at my installation, I criticized the distinguished criteria from that time. That's what my speech was about, and I don't at that time that was 92, 33 years ago, and we are already drifted away from the objects for them from then. You know, you were not there, but at the
Bradley, it must be your TV.
convention.
Must be your TV. It's not Bobby's.
I'm at a religious meeting.
Okay.
Okay. So the question is, the executive director, he spoke about in the same sentence recruitment and revenue, which tells me very clearly that his thinking and KI's thinking is that don't recruit back, we recruit for revenue. And that is one major mindset change is needed. But everybody sat there and said nothing. And then clapped this gentleman when he finished speaking.
I understand what you're
Because I
saying,
don't think
Bobby,
we listen to what people say.
but you're avoiding my question. You don't answer my question.
What is the question? Ask the question. I
Were
don't think
clubs
clubs were successful.
in the
The
past?
majority of clubs were not successful. There have been one or two, but the majority of the clubs were not successful in the past. The majority of the clubs were not successful. We're not.
I want to show this in.
I guess everything comes back to the measure of success.
Absolutely, Roger. Absolutely. And we have to measure success really by go back to the objects. Our purpose is not to do projects. You know, Kiwanis number 5 says to provide through Kiwanis clubs a practical means to enduring friendships. No. I believe if a club decide that the first 3 months we're going to do nothing but fellowship, that club is fine. But we are on this, and I think once you get that synergy among membership, the performance of the involvement goes up, the impact goes up. But we keep forgetting that fellowship is the heart and soul of Kiwanis. And I'd recommend many clubs to just from October to December do nothing but fellowship. And then spend the last 9 months doing altruism. Fellowship is not an afterthought. Fellowship is a core function of Kiwanis as per the objects of KI.
Quick question, Bobby.
Yes.
Your presentation. Okay, let me put it this way.
Yes.
I'm sure we all know about the product life cycle. It is a function of business. I'm sure Kiwanis, etc. Which is why in the older countries, Canada, they are on the other side, coming down. I don't think we can reverse that.
Of course, we can reverse that, Stewie. But we haven't done anything. There's been no strategic planning district to reverse that. Kiwanis International need an overhaul. We have regressed since 2005. We need an overhaul. I think presidents and governors go in and they're not sure their purpose of why they are presidents and why they are governors. I know that.
But if you had a plan, have they sat down and said, how can we address this issue of declining leadership at membership in Canada? But they haven't done it. They just train, have convention and train, nothing else. But it can happen. It can be reversed.
And Bobby,
Yes.
when you have criteria, and this has been coming down from days immemorial, and nobody go to send amendments or make sure they send the questions or whatever they need to send to international. They don't send it. And then when you get there, my friend Trevor Dunn would go there and stand up at the mic at international, and sometimes they have to call the question. Now, let me ask you a question. You have criteria that they have sent you. This is coming down from time immemorial. How can you just drastically decide that because the club have the authority, you're going to change all this? You can't. Otherwise, the ultimate goal here, you know, Bobby, is to get distinguished status, and that has
absolute rubbish. That's not an object. The object says nothing about
and I'm not going to make you badger me because I'm not in the discussion of what I know. All these things have come down from time immemorial, and so the clubs try to follow it. As a matter of fact, when the new team is going to take over, before that, the goals are sent down. District have their goals, and the clubs make sure they pattern their goals after district when we should do that. But that's what happened.
No, Gerthlin, I agree with you. We shouldn't pattern it. And first of all, the criteria they send down is a criteria for a particular award, not a criteria for the club.
But are you going to tell me that at this stage, clubs are going to change now and don't follow those criteria?
They're not going to follow the criteria. They need to decide in your strategic plan what they want to deliver. If I believe that I want to drop,
do that, Bobby, but you know they have to be practical here, and we're having a lot of fellowship now. So if you're telling me about fellowship, you ask New Kingston and you'll find out. I just come back from Appleton that I've been, but I'm a country girl, so I love drive
out there last weekend. But Gerthlin, there's no compulsion to follow the criteria.
Tell the clubs that.
None.
Tell the clubs.
Well, until we realize that clubs are superior
it's going to take a lot of changing and a lot of mindset reorganizing.
We have to start.
To do that.
We have to start.
And I hope somehow you get it to start, Bobby, and implement those ideas so that
it's up to the clubs, not up to me. Not up to me.
Not up to you. It is definitely up to the club because the clubs have the authority. But I want to see it happen.
But Bobby,
good evening, everyone. I'm sorry I didn't do that.
Yeah, but Bobby.
Yes, Ralston.
The criteria and how we view the criteria and follow it seriously to get or to be deemed in the eyes of Kiwanis distinguished. But it is not something that happens throughout Kiwanis. I think we concentrate on that more in Jamaica.
That's true. That's true. Most people don't give a damn about it. You do what you want to do to help your community and help the children. That's it. That criteria is the criteria is a means to an end. It's not an end in itself. And the purpose of the criteria is to encourage more and more impact.
Yeah.
But what does encourage is more and more delinquency. And because Kiwanis looks on membership as revenue and not membership as impact, right? They fall in that trap, and the movement has been a shadow of what it could have been. Because I've seen no president taking on the challenges. Right? We need a total overhaul of the movement. We have a strong asset, and I think it's been wasted.
Bobby, I'd like to make a quick
Okay.
comment. My last comment.
Last
Yes,
comment,
yes,
DP
sir.
still.
Yeah, let me just make the last comment. It was one of the first things you said when you started your presentation, and you posed the question why participants do not have the desire to absorb training.
Yeah.
Now, in a workplace, you absorb training because it leads to promotion, etc., etc., etc.
Right.
What is the, I think we have to answer that question. I think people go to training not with the feeling that I need to retain, because it's not the workplace. So I think there's a little thing we have to tackle there in order to get people to want to.
That is true. And I think this is true. As a president, you should treat members not as staff, but as customers. I think you may need to make that mindset change. You treat members is the lifeblood of Kiwan. It's the greatest assets you have. So you have to support that asset and don't treat them as staff. Staff is not necessarily the greatest asset in our organization. Although they
Well,
say
the point
it
I
is.
was making is that they are not staff. They are not staff.
Right,
That's the
it's
point
so
I'm making.
fine. They're not staff, but there are other volunteer organizations that perform, and there are some clubs and some people that perform well. But the problem is that we have a problem, right, with our leadership at the international, the district level in particular, and so we have to literally fight against the grain at the club level. But the club is superior to all of them. And until they understand that, we will always continue sucking up to them. That's the problem.
And the club have a responsibility in who they recruit into the movement, because different people come with different quality. And the reality is that based on where we are now, there are persons being recruited who cannot afford Kiwanis for whatever reason.
I disagree with you. I disagree with you, Ralston. Ralston, I disagree with you. Ralston, hear this.
I'm telling you.
We had a club member who claimed they couldn't afford the dues, but went to the Paris Convention. Don't tell me about this at the can. Don't tell me about that.
I am
they choose not to, Ralston. They choose not to.
Even
they choose not to.
If they choose not to, fine. But I'm telling you that
we have not created an environment and provided the right environment position.
We don't create environment. We don't create environment for individual members. We create one environment.
Of course you do. No, that's not true. You have to, just like how you treat children one at a time, you have to work with the members one at a time. Changing the world one child, one community at a time, and support clubs one member at a time.
But the
Kermit had his hand up,
DLG Bobby, if I may.
Kermit had his hand up. President.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I see your hand, Kermit, and thank you, DLG Bobby. I'm going to have to intervene here and ask you, Bobby, if we can continue this a little bit after 9, because we do have some Kiwanis business to handle, and then we can accommodate all the discussion, because as usual, very thought-provoking, at times controversial, and we could go on and on, but there are persons here who we as a duty, we're running late and we should have finished at 8:30. So first of all, I'm just going to ask Kiwanis Club of Kingston members for permission to extend the meeting so as we can complete the formal part of the meeting. Can I get somebody?
So moved, President. So moved.
Seconded.
Second, thank you very much. And I'm going to invite DP Rupert to move the vote of thanks at this time. Don't go, I think I saw Rupert online earlier. Over to you, Rupert.
Thanks, Prez.
Okay, no problem.
Every time I hear DLG Bobby, he gives me a lot of food for thought. He reminds me about an ancient philosophy philosopher called Plato, who used to ask questions, and when he gets the answers, he would ask further questions to dig deep into what people would understand and speak about. This evening was such a class, and I know that sometimes people think that the gentleman, fellow Kiwanian, and I would call him one of the more erudite of Kiwanians that we have. Sometimes people think he's a little bit controversial, but he's controversial because he asks hard questions. And we just want to thank you, sir, for, again, asking the hard questions, because once we are talking about strategy, we need to stop every now and again and talk about where we want to see ourselves, not next year or 2 years down the line, but long term, 5, 10, 15 years. And this evening you afforded us that privilege. You also acted like a teacher of no mean order, because you informed us, and you not only asked questions, but you took answers that sometimes made you agree, sometimes made you disagree, as you use your expertise. And many people may not know that he's one of the top strategy persons in Jamaica and the Caribbean. Some people think that when he speaks at Kiwanis meetings that you're just speaking off your head. I see you did a few quotes of some of the great thinkers in strategy. You're known for helping people, companies, and even countries to align themselves with strategic thinking. And we just want to thank you for sharing that with us. We're gonna pick up on a lot of what you mentioned, sir. And we thank you for coming. You have always been a friend of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. How you didn't become a member, but rather go to Ligani, I'm not too sure. But thank you for being here. We have a certificate for you that we'll be getting to you, sir. So thank you for your admonitions. So thank you for speaking with us. I know that not only the Kiwanis Club of Kingston members, but all the members who are on are grateful. And anything that causes us to itch, to think about something else, is worthy of our being here. Looking forward to getting this to you, sir. On behalf of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, thank you for troubling our minds again. Thank you, sir.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. And I must say, Rupert, that within a month after I became a member, I was accosted by one, I think it's past DP, Dr. Gordon, to ask me how dare I join another club. I remember DLG Willie, how dare I join another club, because his daughter and I were at school in McGill together. So he said, why did I decide to join Ligani and not Kingston? But
maybe we're better off.
Maybe, very much so. Very much so. Very much so. Thank you all. It's my pleasure to be here as usual. And I look forward to helping piloting President Stephen and the rest of the club as you go forward and strategize in this formal way.
Indeed. Thank you very much, DLG Bobby. And just please stay around, because I know Kermit and a few other people have some further questions or comments to share with you. So just to conclude our regular Kiwanis agenda, next we have Sergeant at Arms. I'm just going to level a blanket fine. There is rumors of elections in the air. So I'm going to ask all the Kiwanis Club of Kingston members, those who are enumerated, which is a good thing because you're exercising your political franchise, the universal adult suffrage, all that we fought for. You will pay a fine of $300. And if you're not enumerated and you don't have your voter's ID card, you're going to pay a fine of $400. And if over the last 3 weeks you have not attended a Kiwanis meeting in person or gone to a project, please pay a fine of $500. So that's 300, 400, or 500. Please find the one that applies to you and make a payment into this Kiwanis Club of Kingston Administrative Fund. On that point, I'm going to quickly transition into the notices and announcements and ask DLG Willie if he has any announcements to make at this time to our members.
Thank you, President Stephen. Good evening, fellow Kiwanians. Just to quickly repeat, Kiwanis International Convention being held in Pittsburgh this weekend, June 25th to 28th, as you all know. President Stephen will be representing our club, and we wish him the best of luck. A reminder, the National Dance Theatre benefit performance on Saturday, July the 19th at 8 p.m. Cost of ticket is $4,000. The response to the benefit performance has been much better from clubs outside of Kingston. So I'm begging the members in the club to please let me know how many tickets they need, because we need to make this a very successful venture. I shall be sending out the flyer again in the morning, so I'm hoping that I'll get a response. On some interclubbing opportunities, before I do that though, there are certain films accumulated outstanding collection from our Barbie Pride, certainly from the Christmas ball and our Barbie Pride, hoping that we can collect those by the end of the month so we can present a clean report at our next board meeting. In terms of interclubbing opportunities, on Thursday, we've been invited by Nation Builders, Kiwanis Club of Nation Builders Kingston, to their meeting, online meeting at 7 p.m. The guest speakers are old President-designate Zuri Johnson. There's also been a request from Lieutenant Governor Sharon that if we can muscle up a team to visit St. Thomas. They meet at Russell's Paradise in Yallows Bay, St. Thomas on Thursday. They're meeting at 7 p.m. Apart from those, we have the certificates presentation at Lanneman's Prep at 11 o'clock on Thursday. Other than that, any other interclubbing opportunities, I will circulate those in the morning. Thank you, President Stephen. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, DLG Willie. I'm going to take the opportunity now to invite any of our visiting Kiwanian clubs if they have any announcements or events that they would like to share with us on the platform at this time. Any event? Going once, speak up, don't be shy. Going twice. If there's no events, I'm going to formally terminate this meeting. Thank you everyone for your participation and your audience. As I indicated earlier, DLG Bobby is still online, and Kermit and others who may have any questions, we will accommodate them at that time. Remember, we have our meetings every Tuesday at 7 p.m. and we look forward to your continued support and audience. So on that note, I'd like you to raise your virtual glasses if you have them. Let us have a toast to Kiwanis International and to Jamaica land we love. Cheers. This concludes the meeting of Kiwanis Club of Kingston. Thank you, everybody, and have a pleasant night.
Pleasant night to all.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Can I go now?
Go ahead, Kermit.
Lloyd
Yes.
Davis. I'm
Yes,
seeing Lloyd
Kermit,
in
you
a
have the
while.
floor now. Go ahead.
All right. Thanks very much. It's an unusual way to get the floor, but and to be told you have it, but that's good enough. I understand totally. First thing, Prez, is that to let you know that having now just looked at the gallery, I'm seeing between 4 and 5 other members from the Kiwanis Club of Downtown Kingston.
Okay.
Yes. there's Director Designate Trevor Lewis, there's the new Kiwani Dr. Victor, there's DP Andrew Lee, there was PDA Lloyd Davis, and as far as I know, DP Roger Rooms was also on. I can't say about any others. Wow. Okay, great. All right, let's
Your
so
names have been recorded.
okay. Thank you.
Yes.
So where
Your
am I
question
with
to
this?
DLG Bobby. You had a question
I'm going to
or
do that
comment?
now. I'm going to do that now.
Okay.
I'm going to do that
Yes.
now. First, I want to commend Bobby on this presentation, and to also make a confession. It's not often I totally agree with the stuff Bobby presents in situations like this, but I mean, he really got me hooked this evening.
Wow.
Yes, you did. Right?
You're my mentor now. Credits remember that.
Bobby,
You remember that, Bobby?
Bobby, when you were president, I was just beginning to learn, right?
Right, but you're the
And
LG,
I
I
might state
believe.
a fact. A fact is that when I started paying attention, there was like 330,000 members in Kiwanis. That wasn't it like in the year 93, 94, that kind of number.
Right.
Right? At this present time, there's half of that.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
And I have also been through situations where we have looked at the objects, but have never really interpreted it the way you gave it.
Yeah.
Okay? And yes,
We
we have
are
also
looking,
heard
we are
over
looking.
time, a lot of times and a lot of spaces, that it is the clubs that are the most important aspect of Kiwanis International.
Absolutely.
And we have gone to the route of turning the triangle upside down to kind of emphasize that point.
Yep.
But right after that, we keep on doing the old thing the usual way. As you rightfully say, we wait for we call it now, criteria from KI, we wait from criteria from the district, and as I presented criteria as a lieutenant governor, and we're still looking for those. So the real question is, or my question is, how do we begin to make the change? And I want to, just one second, Bobby, I want to point out one other thing and I'm going to stop. I've been watching the leadership of the ECNC district for the last 7 or 8 years, or more than that. From Bobby, the other Bobby, that is Muyang, became governor. And from that time, there's been a cascade of Caribbean governors, including a number of governors from Jamaica, right? And whatever success I see in ECNC seem to be coming from that. Currently, we have 3 Caribbean governors lined up back to back, 4 actually, starting with Pam to Christine as the last. My question: how do we orient our governors? How do we orient our governors, the people who come out of our own bellies, to adopt what has been demonstrated tonight, so as to begin to make the change? How do we get to them?
Well, the ECNC district, to be fair to Governor Palm, should start a strategic planning process. But there's a lot of internal resistance within the district office and the district board that really has no intentions to make it go forward. They want to clearly maintain the status quo. And I think we have to, the newly minted D in your DLG, Desmond, has agreed to start a petition because really something has to happen. Something has to happen.
Petition about what?
A petition for the district to start to change its ways and start to focus on fixing the district rather than just starting new clubs so the district, so the governor can get distinguished.
I'm not
But
saying it's not. I'm not.
isn't it more than just a petition? I'm not sure.
Well, what would you suggest, Beverly?
I am thinking because this sounds like a whole can of worms, and where do you begin? You saying a
That's why
petition?
we also need to orient. That's why I said ask about orienting the people that come out of our own bellies, because that has to be a part of it.
Because right now every governor is coming in and doing their thing and making their plans.
We want to get distinguished, that's all, nothing else.
Well, boy,
and then our left-hand governors aid and abet it by forming all these new clubs and leaving a lot of underperforming clubs in their wake.
Bobby, in fairness to the LGs,
yes,
I think I would put it that it's not just about getting a distinguished, but everybody wants to make a difference.
The governors not making a difference.
Sorry,
The
I was talking
governors
about the governors. I was really thinking about
the divisions and the
divisions I was talking about. But I remember.
Well, if you look at it, Stewie, let me tell you this. At the recent convention, I know for certain, and anybody else can debate that with me, right? I thought Division 23 West had some serious problems with their clubs, and the Division 23 West LG was given excellence, right? And the reason the governor said was that she put on a good governor's visit.
That was just so unfortunate. That was very unfortunate.
He was being honest. That is the reason, and probably because Stefan had these. I think Stefan's very long all clubs meeting on DCM tested the patience and the ire of John. He was very upset that these long meetings were getting him upset, and I think that's the reason why Stefan lose, because he has this long forsaken meetings. About 3 hours that he has his all clubs meeting up at the church in Legani there.
How loose coming it?
Huh?
How loose coming it? It's not a competition.
Who?
It's a determination of the governor as who he give E to. There's no criteria.
No.
And you
The
alluded
governor
to
is
the fact that
no. The governor can't just pull anything out of the air like that. The governor is supposed to provide excellence based on the best performing division. That is it.
But that's not so, though, Bobby. That's not so.
What you use
the fact that they don't
what
practice
is the
it. Hold on,
yardstick they
Russell.
use to measure that?
Russ,
There's nothing in writing about that.
Hold on. Bev, hold on. Bev. The fact that they don't follow it.
But Bev is correct.
Ralston, can I finish?
No, you try to.
Ralston, can I finish?
No, Bev is correct.
Okay. All right, Bev, go ahead. Everybody, I won't answer them. Sorry, Kermit. I won't answer.
Yeah.
A Kingston man is being very rude.
Bobby, you have to know when to ignore Ralston, you know.
Yeah, I want to hear what Bobby has to say.
I can't talk over him.
Bobby, your background is on the beach, but you need to take your head out the sun sometime. You try to discredit certain arguments, and I bringing you back to the business of the quality of the membership. Are you bearded? You're not addressing it.
Kermit asked a question, and I'm trying to answer him.
Let's hear the answer.
That's correct.
Right? And I spoke, and I'm saying that how are we going to make this happen? We said, let us go through a petition. We have a problem that the governors run for the position, but they don't understand their role based on how they end up running the district, where all the problems are swept under the carpet and not addressed. And then they get distinguished, and they force lieutenant governors to form clubs, knowing very well that clubs won't last long. I mean, I saw one division that got a DLGE, and then a couple of years later, nobody was willing to go for. All the clubs are not one single one pass the minimum criteria. I think the distinguish is a floor, is a minimum. If you can't pass that somehow. Minimum.
You know, we're not knocking you, you know, because we acknowledge the problem, but I don't see what petition is gonna achieve anything.
Ralston, you have a better idea?
Maybe a petition to discontinue the distinguished criteria.
No, that's not
Bobby,
the
I
issue.
have
That's not the issue.
my final comment here is to make a request of you to send me a copy of this presentation.
I will.
And I will also use I will also retreat, go into my own retreat place, and probably think over the strategy. And maybe I talk with Desmond, because I have my concerns about a petition. I think the best way out of some of this is to have a face-to-face conversation with some people. And I am concerned about we have to talk with the people who come out of our belly and are going forward to the higher position. We have to talk with them. Those are my thoughts at this stage, but I'm going to stop for now. Thanks everybody for listening to me.
Bobby, just one question for Bobby.
Sorry.
Bobby, you're
Just let
on
me tell
the...
Kermit something. Kermit is being recorded, yeah? So I will be able to send you. I'll be able to send you the video.
Okay, that's fine. That will help also.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I just ask Bobby one question? Bobby, you're on the strategic planning for the district?
That process was aborted because of the internal resistance to the process.
Really? Oh,
it was.
Wow.
And we have failed over years to do some surgery at the district. There are certain people need to be removed from that district, and everybody seems afraid of one person in that district office. I think to me, the DST needs to retire and bring in somebody new. Everybody's afraid of DST. Nothing can happen as the DST says. And I say that without fear of contradiction.
Sometimes I agree with you sometimes.
Well, DLG Bobby, you and I have agreed on many things, especially with respect to the rush to say we're going to get distinguished. And I've often said it, stop running down the criteria of what makes you distinguished and just enjoy, as you rightfully say, that first part of the objects. If it is that, I think the challenge over the last few years is that because we have been meeting online, we have lost the essence of what Kiwanis is. And we are so drawn to the online meetings that we no longer want to do the fellowships. The online meetings have a place, It does have a place, but the fellowships need to come back.
I agree with you.
Once you do that and you enjoy being with club members, not just yours, but others, the ones all over the islands that we can visit, then really and truly the work comes automatically. Because you say, boy, have something to do down the road. Come join me,
The challenge, this problem didn't start during COVID. This problem is a long-standing problem, long before COVID, long before the advent of online meetings. At the same problem. COVID might have exacerbated the issue, but it wasn't the start of the issue. So I partly agree with you.
Bobby, are you hoping to go forward with a new administration? With your strategic plans?
I respond to requests, I mean, I don't force myself upon it.
No, it's not to set yourself up, but probably they would be more inclined to do the changes that are needed if you sort of give them a nudge. Because
you can give them a nudge.
There's a new team coming in.
Our own VG is the chairman of the long range planning committee.
Yes.
So she's in your club, so maybe you can give her a nudge.
Oh,
Well, you know me, but it's you going to do it, Bobby. I don't have the ability to do these things, but I can also
No,
say to Sharon, don't worry, I will.
I respond to requests, and I'm
All
happy
right,
to be
I got the
helping
message.
Kingston to do theirs and any other club who may call upon me.
Very good presentation, Bobby. Very
Thank you very much.
very enlightening, and
lovely.
hopefully we will look into it seriously.
Sir Bobby.
As usual, as usual.
Yes, Chris.
Presentations are
Yes,
always
Chris.
good.
Two things. Firstly, the first thing is not to you, but to DLGE Kermit. I don't understand how the man say, boy, I never say any of his friends online, and him name some other people I never name him, but it's all right. The man was my LG, you know, whether I was but it's all right.
Yeah.
But the
I
second
remember.
thing,
Yes, and you was them friend too, so you know I'm them friend. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying now, right? But the second thing is that, you know, I noticed that you're quoting me quite liberally in these presentations nowadays. You know, you might have to start
Yes,
paying me
sir.
some royalty.
I'm quoting you. I check with the office of the intellectual property officer. So as long as I quote you, all right.
But in all seriousness, well, this is just a follow up to what was saying is that, you know, I think even though you said, boy, you respond to requests, given the fact of the situation where the district is concerned, and the fact that we have upcoming, you know, people from our district, from our area who are heading towards leadership, maybe we really need to go there first, right? To make sure that we have that mind change coming forward. Right?
Okay.
So boy, you know, the current secretary treasurer of the district is the tough nut. But you know, we need if it's a consistent thing coming through the ranks in terms of the need for change, maybe we need to really start lobbying those people who are in the process, you know, coming forward. And that's all I'm saying.
I think is a majority of the board and the majority and the board. So the board, so it's not just the DST alone, but there are many members of the board who have no inclination to see any changes. They want to maintain the status quo.
Well, the thing is, the reality though is that you have a number of governors go there unprepared, and therefore the DST rules supreme, and them can't challenge it because they are not prepared.
So how can we better prepare the governors?
Yeah.
That is part of what I'm saying, that we need to do it now, right? Because they know that they are in line to go forward, right? And so if we can get that mindset change, which you talk about, from you know, regarding the people who are on their way up, you know, that may be, you know, the way to start.
They are wonderful speeches when elections on.
Yeah. Some of our
wonderful promises.
Some of our old Caribbean governors have been, I don't want to say the worst, but they have been, you know, looking. I remember, you know, when I went to a governor and I proved to him that a certain club was a phantom club and convinced him and him say, yes, I agree. I'm coming down to the end of the administration. I said, Governor, we have to take this off the books. And the man said, Ralston, you don't understand. This is about making my district distinguished. And that was his mindset. And you're right, he gave out 3 excellence that year.
I don't think he really meant district, he meant him.
Well, my was emphasized, my district.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's what he means. I must make sure because there's no such thing as district. There's district usually, but district governor, we carry that for a long time. But we do it. It happens all over.
Bobby, you know, I want to commend you on your present. Yes, if I can mute that person. Yeah, I just wanted to commend you on your on your presentation. You know,
Thank you, this is true.
when I joined the club, I heard from people like the LGE, Trevor. I remember him specifically saying what you are saying tonight, that the LGs don't dictate to the clubs. And I remember it very clearly. It's
As Christian?
Yeah, Christian.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
he was an
I
advocate
remember.
of that. And
He was.
But it seemed as if over the years it switched, as you have pointed out.
It's really switched. Really switched.
And I was gonna say that that's kind of one of the reasons why I never ran for LG, because I had a conflict of what am I supposed to come up with some great ideas, or am I supposed to support the clubs? And in a sense, I never figured it out. And I'm saying that in a sense, I'm glad that you made this very clear tonight. And really I'm hoping that going forward, you know, the shift can be made. So I really appreciate you know, I followed it very closely, and I really thought that your presentation was spot on.
Thank you, Stu.
Unfortunately, it has been recorded, including this part.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
But sometimes, you know, but you have to be specific when you talk about support the club, because when you go to the DCM and hear club talk about lack of resources, financial resources, that is what they are looking for, support, you know.
That's because they don't understand the role of the club. You don't need resources to go and engage children. You don't need resources to go to the children's home and spend a whole morning. You don't need resources for a lot of things. Lack of resources is an excuse in volunteer organization, in private sector, in public sector, and in academia. Lack of resources is always an excuse when there's a root cause why they are underperforming.
Every question I want to ask you, what do you see as our role?
Who is
The
our
club,
role?
Kiwanis. What is Kiwanis about?
It is very clear. It says we are here to empower communities to make lasting differences in the life of children. It's very, very clear. That's the role.
But that requires resources.
No, that don't require resources.
What do you mean?
How much resources Leighton spend on all the children he has made lasting differences in their lives?
Holy.
Spend on time. Is time or money?
No,
so the
money.
question is,
money.
If we know, hold on, Ralston. If you take one child, right, and you find out what are the needs, and if you don't have enough money for 5 children, you do it for 1 child. If you can't find that resource, but usually people want resources to go and put up large structures, to put on big projects that carry a lot of expenditure. That is what they want. And there is a thing called resource mobilization or fundraising, and you focus that to support the Kiwanis mission. But most times they don't have any plan, but they want resources. They don't budget. They won't put out any plans to raise funds, but do that. That's the problem. Once you have a strategic plan, it will guide you to how you can align your impact with whatever resources are wanted. Anytime somebody said they're short of resources, an excuse.
To be continued, Bobby.
All right, you guys ready for some music?
Sure.
Not conceding, not conceding, to be continued.
No, it's not about conceding. And you remember now, Kingston Club is going into a strategic planning process. So you have to come with some ideas about how to generate resources.
I tell you, say, me and you have a WhatsApp weekly call. And whoever we feel to invite and who want to join in. And we have all these discussions.
Bobby, thank you so much.
I will start the process and hope everybody else start having those weekly meetings.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you for your.
You're so welcome, Bevan, and happy anniversary again.
Thank you, DLG Bobby. Always a pleasure hearing your views.
Thank you.
Hey,
Yeah, man. Take care, everyone.
And Bev,
DDT Ralston, stop giving so much trouble.
Bev,
What you say, Ralston? Yeah.
Bev, don't look 50.
I have a plan for you, because you have to be the greatest woman I know.
Well, because of your rubber like friend.
So